It's your boy Sentel, NBA Live Bolton. So, we're kind of snowed in. Well, not really snowed in, but the other night I was in the bed with my Nintendo Switch, and so I was playing demos of Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, and I really hadn't played Resident Evil 6 all that much. So I downloaded the demo. It looked good, and man, it was amazing. So I actually got it from my Xbox Series X, Xbox One version, but games are backwards compatible. You can play it on your Series X. So I was ecstatic. So you can play with Ada Wong. So Ada Wong was introduced back in Resident Evil 2. Of course, she's pretty much a beautiful mercenary. And so Resident Evil 6 is pretty much a mixture of an arcade game, a live action Resident Evil. Man, I liked it. It was actually real good. I'm actually still playing it. And I'm actually playing 3 Resident Evils. I'm playing Resident Evil 2 on the N64, playing Resident Evil 6, of course, and then I'm playing Resident Evil Code Veronica. So so the gripe that I have with games now, they look good. Like it's kind of like that arcade aspect of it. Like the Resident Evil 6, you press A, you press B, you do this cinematic, and it kind of gets old. But I mean, I get it. Something simpler, and everything is catering to just simple. It's kind of like people that use an iPhone, Android, whatever you're used to. It's kind of simple, and your mind gets kind of controlled by what we use every day, and so you get used to it. And so all the newer games are kind of like that. So like I said, the stories sometimes they lack in the newer games, but the graphics look amazing. Resident Evil games, the N64, Dreamcast, the Sony's PlayStation, some of the earlier stuff, I think these are the best horror games ever made. So let me tell you why. So the graphics, it has that dark, grungy, bit. It makes the game more bit scarier, And some of the stuff that the Resident Evil games had, like in the second one, you can actually change the blood from like green, which is my favorite color, blue, red, and I think you can change it on the DS too, but I'm not for sure if you can change it on the DS, but I think you can. But I know for the N64 you can do it. And so like these graphics, man, it's that dark, grungy. Like I said, it gives that more scarier feel. And I think we took stuff like that for granted back in the day. And so with that being said, Resident Evil 2 Code Veronica is still in that best console kind of era where it's like the Dreamcast, PS2, original Xbox type era. And so I think when they got toward the 360, which was amazing, which one of my favorite consoles of all times, PS3 had some great games. After that, after like 2010, 11, games started looking like, I don't know why it's so hyped up, but like Resident Evil 4. That game, for the time, I guess it looked good, but Resident Evil 4 is kind of weak to me for some reason. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't do it for me. Like the Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, the original ones are like the best. And then you have 4, which and then 5 was kind of like, they got the gold. It's kind of like you're in this voodoo African desert type. I don't know. I just didn't really get it, man. This one right here is like commercialized. Resident Evil 6 is. It's really commercialized. Like I said, it's like an arcade game. It looks good, but it's something about it I like, And you get to switch your characters. You get to pick different characters, different scenarios and stuff. So I like that. So that's like I was going back to watch the Resident Evil movies, man. Some of the stuff we take for granted, like the Resident Evil movies, the Blu-rays, the DVDs, they had these badass like screen selections. So like I was gonna try to record some, but for some reason when I put it in my Blu-ray player for my PS3, it wouldn't let me capture it. I don't know if Sony got some kind of copyright or whatever, but if y'all have any of those DVDs or Blu-rays, look at the screen selection, man. They had the badass like antivirus, the T-virus, and you can see like the characters and all this stuff. But yeah, that's like I said, man, that goes along with the stuff that we grew up on, man. Early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. Some of that stuff is going to be extinct, man. So hold on to your stuff. Hold on to the games that we have now, like Saturn, PS2, PS1, Atari Jaguar stuff, Sega Saturn stuff, Like I said, PS2, original Xbox, even the Game Boy stuff, even the Game Boy Advance, even the Game Boy 3DS. See how the price is shooting up on the 3DS. You know, some of that stuff, man, you can't, like, even some, I never played really PC stuff, but I had a friend, Wesley, his brother Miko, he was actually in college. Well, we was entering like middle school. He was in high school, about to graduate. When I saw Doom on the 3A floppy disk, I was like, damn, man, that looks badass. And then, you know, later it was ported to the PlayStation, which I played, and I thought it was just, man, drop dead amazing. So yeah, man, you know, the Daytona USA's, the Burning Rangers, you know, the early stuff, Alien vs Predator, Metal Gear Solid. I said Metal, it's a Metal Gear Solid, NFL Game Days. Shout out to my man TB Wells, NBA Shootout, the earlier Silent Hill games, man, some of the earlier sports games. These are some of the best games ever made, man, like Cool Borders, Siphon Filter, earlier Madden games, you know. It was a cutoff point in video games. I think when 2008, when they started going to like the newer cinematic type, it's just an arcade game. But before that, man, we had games that we really had. And another thing with the N64 games, it doesn't like point you to where to go. You have to actually figure that shit out. You know, you just stuck, man. And you like, damn, now they got YouTube. You can search what to do with it. But back then, man, all you had was, if you had the codes to unlock or you try to figure it out, somebody at school figured something out and they told you, and then that's when you got word of it, and then that's when you kind of figured it out. But other than code books, those days are gone where people actually read code books and demo disc, and the golden age of gaming, in my opinion, man. But I'm not going to like grab your head. I want to leave y'all with some gameplay of some Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil 2, the N64 version, and Resident Evil 6. Alright, guys, it's been your boy Centel, NBA Live, signing off. Oh yeah, if y'all in Georgia and y'all in the northeastern Georgia, north part of Georgia, whatever, and if you got the storm, man, take advantage of it. If you have work, if you're out for work today or the next day, you know, game, man, if you got some classic games, go and dust them off, man. Any Sega CDs, Sega Saturns, Nintendos, any Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, any Game Boys, any, you know, PS2, original Xbox, N64, just, you know, play it, man, enjoy it, man. Y'all go over, you know, if you're near your friends, I don't recommend you getting on the road with all the ice, but if you're walking distance, man, or even if you're on the phone, man, you know, get on the phone call, you know, plug up some of your old consoles, man, dust them off, get them to work, get some alcohol, you know, clean that cartridge out and blow it, and, you know, y'all get on the phone and y'all reminisce about the good old days, man. That's what it's all about, man, enjoying. You never know when you're gonna go, man, so, you know, dust off, man. If you guys into like Slugfest, MLB Slugfest was a good one. Sports games, you know, you got NBA Live, of course, the Tiger Wood games, the World Series baseball, the Sega games on the original Xbox, some of the earlier PlayStation stuff like NFL Face Off, like, not NFL, but NHL Face Off, the hockey game, man. Y'all go dust some of that back off. Like, I got the long boxes of NBA Live 96 on the original PlayStation, man. Some of that Gran Turismo, Knockout Kings, Triple Play, these are all sports games, man. Some of the newer stuff is pretty dope, but, you know, I got some of the newer sports games with like 2K17, Live 14, FIFA 23, NHL like 16, 17, some of that stuff. But like the earlier stuff, man, go back and try to enjoy some of that stuff. I know some of the graphics are outdated, but if you can, man, just sit back and be like, oh man, you know, sometimes I just reminisce. I just plug up a game and I just like let it play. Like I'll have some of the rain aspects on Madden, some of the earlier Madden, like Madden 2000, 2001, 98. I would put it in my original PlayStation, turn up my speakers on my TV. I got like a subwoofer and like little computer speakers hooked up to my Sony Bravio TV in my bedroom. And sometimes I would just put the game in and just let it play. And I like that for some reason, when the game plays like that, it has that rain, that thunder sound. You know, sometimes I just like to listen to Madden's voice and Pat Summerall's voice. And some of the old games, I just like to listen to them, you know, sometimes. But that's just me. I'm weird like that, you know. I was listening to some of NASCAR 98 on the Saturn the other night. But yo, man, this is it for this video, man. You know, hit that like, hit that sub button, man. Click your bell for all your notifications for retro gaming, plus NBA Live content, plus next gen content, which is not next gen. PlayStation 6 and new Xbox is probably a couple years away, I guess. But, you know, that's it for this video, man. Later. Doggy dog.